Hey guys, how you doing? This is JP Saricolia coming to you once again with another episode of Age of Heroes, my podcast. And today I want to talk about something that has been actually in the news for a couple of days. And it's about Leslie Jones actually getting upset and actually voicing her opinion on Twitter. Probably you have read some of the excerpts in some of the different websites or in social media. I'm sure you have heard about it. Now, I want to weigh in because I want to talk about how I feel about the whole ordeal with the Ghostbusters reboot. And also, what is my opinion in regards to what she's saying and what other fans or people are saying online in regards to the film. As you know, the reboot came out last year, of course. Well, not last year, 2016, so it's been kind of a while. Time flies. It was directed by Paul Feig. I'm not going to say that I'm a fan of his comedy or his movies. I think he's okay for what he does. He has a specific type of comedy that I'm not totally, I would say, sold into. But it was, of course, portrayed by Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, Leslie Jones, and Kate McKinnon. I like the film. I'm going to tell you right straight up. I did enjoy the film. It was funny. I went to the movies with my wife. I like it so much that I actually purchased the 4K version, the steelbook from in this case Best Buy. Really love it. I really like it. It's one of those popcorn films that you watch perhaps when you don't have nothing better to do and you just want something light, something just to have fun with. Really have no problem with it. The film didn't make what Sony wanted to make. That's the reason why there was not a continuation or a second part of the film. And they have to scratch everything out now because the original budget was for $144 million, which is a lot of money, and only make like 229 worldwide. Of course, 144, that's the budget just for the production of the film. That doesn't count, of course, the money that is invested into the advertisement worldwide, which probably adds even the same amount of money. It doubles that amount. So technically it was a flop. It was a flop for Sony. And of course they scratched that out and they going to restart everything. And last week we have a little cameo, a little hint, a little teaser of what is to come for the next film. They're going to reboot it again. Some people are saying this is going to be actually produced. The new film is going to be actually, let me go back to Jason Reitman, who is actually the son of, in this case, of Ivan Reitman, who was actually the director of the original, the producer of the original film, which, of course, is kind of nice to think that the son is following the footsteps of the dad for this new reboot. Some talks I was going online are saying that the film is going to be like teenagers. It's going to be supposedly, I think, two boys, two girls, becoming the Ghostbusters or something like that. And according to this, it's going to play out more in close to what the originals were. So far, we don't know. I don't know exactly what they want to do, and this in talks. Of course, a lot of people went online and they were praising the songs of this new reboot or reboot, saying that that's the best thing that could ever happen to the Ghostbusters. And of course, rubbed some feathers. Some people were really upset, and one of them was Leslie Jones. She was really, really upset. She went on Twitter and expressed her dissatisfaction. And this is her tweet, and I'm going to read it to you. I'm going to probably caption some of the bad language. It says, "So insulting, like F us, we didn't count. It's like something Trump would do. Trump voice, gonna redo Ghostbusters. Better with men, will be huge. Those women ain't Ghostbusters. So annoying. Such a D move. And I don't give F. I'm saying something." I can tell you one thing. I don't think that was the right approach from Leslie Jones. She's well known for speaking her mind. And I think she spoke her mind on this. I think there's a lot of frustration. Maybe she feels the frustration that many of the cast share, and the people, even Paul Feig shares, and they have shared that before, with a lot of the so-called fans or people that they call fandom, when it comes about Ghostbusters. And they say that they're real Ghostbusters fans, the people that they really criticized this film to the ground, and even before the film hit the market, they were already criticizing it. To be honest with you, I understand where she's coming from. Although I don't think that was the right way to say it, the way she said it. She could have just take the high road and just simply pretty much keep on walking. She already did her part. But I feel that she has a lot to say, and I think we should hear what she's saying. And I want to discuss that today. Maybe you're going to dislike what I'm saying, but if you have a little bit of patience through this podcast, I think we can pretty much come to a conclusion, a happy ending per se. Sometimes we don't agree on things. You might not agree with me. That's fine. But I want to share what I need to share here. When the movie came out, the 2016 reboot came out, there was a lot of, a lot of people online that were really dissatisfied, particularly because it was an all-female cast. There's no way to go around it. We might try to change it. We might try to say that that's not the case, but it was, And sadly, we live in a society where machismo, which it is technically a male-oriented society, an idea is that male are more powerful than women and should be at the top, is always the case. You might say, well, JP, you're becoming a feminazi here, which to me is an insulting term even because I'm not a feminist, first of all. I'm a man and I love to be a man, but I do believe in the empowerment of women. I do believe that men and women are equal. They were created equal. They're different in their functions, in their physical functions, and a lot of things they do. Men can do some things that women cannot do. We can do things better than them, and they can do things better than us. We're different. We're separate. But regardless of, we're human beings. And I believe that respecting people and what they stand for and what they're fighting for is okay. I do believe in equal pay rights. I do believe that men and women should have the same honors and the same ability to pursue certain things in different areas of life. I believe that women have been oppressed for so long that, time has changed and we live in a different time, but it doesn't mean that everything is perfect. And there's still a lot of divides into a lot of things, and some people will disagree with me on this, and they use all kind of examples. But to be honest with you, if you're a father, I'm going to give it to you like this. If you have kids change your way of thinking. They transform your way of thinking. I'm Hispanic. I thank God that I grew up in a family, my parents and my mother, that were very strong. They have very strong personalities. My parents are both, they're college educated. My father is a chemical engineer. My mother is an accountant. They both are very smart, very capable, very strong personalities. But we grew up in a Hispanic community in Mexico. I grew up in a culture that put men above women overall. Of course, things have changed like any other part of the world, but back in the day, that was the case. So there was sometimes confrontations at home between my parents in regards to who is the one in charge, who is the one that decides what needs to be done. My mother, being a very smart woman, a very educated woman, of course, didn't allow a lot of things to happen. But my father grew up in a home that was in a family that it was the man is at the top and women, they just follow. But my mother grew up in a different environment where women were at the top. My mother's not Mexican, she's Honduran, and she grew up with a single mom. So she was strong in her personality. So they both clash sometimes, but but they have learned to live and coexist in that, I would say, loving environment, and they taught us to be like that, to respect men and to respect women, regardless. Respect people in authority regardless of their sex, regardless if they were male or they were female. We respect people. But I grew up in an environment that it was very male-oriented, and unfortunately that still exists. But once you become, you grow up, you get married, and I love my wife. My wife is a very strong person. She grew up, with her mother. Her father wasn't there in the picture. So she was very strong. She had a very strong personality, so sometimes we clash. But my wife is not like a typical girl that loves girly stuff. She loves superhero stories. She watches superhero movies with me. She loves spy movies, action movies. She likes, mysteries. She's not your typical girl that loves, like girly stuff. She doesn't like musicals, which actually I do like musicals more than she does, which is funny. But she doesn't, she likes stuff like that. She doesn't like the girly stuff. We taught our daughter, we only have a daughter, but our daughter, just to be strong, to defend and, stand for her rights and stand for what she believes in and to pursue whatever she wanted to do. Believe me, when you become a father, it changes your perspective of the world. It changes the way you see things. It's no longer what you feel or what you think is right. It's more about understanding the life is different. That sometimes our perception can be limited by our circumstances or our upbringing. And perception is very deceiving. Perception can be a flaw that can destroy and limit ourselves and our lives to be something better and to improve our lives. So, to be honest with you, I have grown to understand that. As Sarah was getting older, as she was growing up, I understood more and more the difficulties of women in a society that limits women to be just a pretty girl, just to be a girly girl, just to do this, to be a cheerleader, to be all of that. My daughter went through all of that, through all the stages of being a cheerleader, gymnastics, and all that kind of stuff. But she never felt a place. She never felt that was what she wanted to do. But, you're limited and you follow the steps where people tell you this is what you need to do. And unfortunately, it seems like our society limits that. And, and sadly, and it's just true, we bring that up into our hobbies too, into comic books, into movies, into everything. We judge people and we judge them based on their physical appearance. Like people were saying with Wonder Woman, when Wonder Woman came out. They were judging Gal Gadot because of her physical appearance. They wanted somebody that represented what they thought a woman should look like, or the Wonder Woman. And when we look at comics, you see that there's always this physique of women, which pretty much well endowed. You see, big breasted, big butt women, like very, like unrealistic physically. And that's our image of women. And people were saying, well, Gal Gadot doesn't match that. So the movie's bad. The movie's wrong. Even before the movie hit, because people were not satisfied with the look. You see that with Captain Marvel. People don't like Brie Larson because, she sounds like this. Oh, because she doesn't look like Mrs. Marvel in the comics. Oh, because of that, And, this movie just to empower women. People didn't like, Rogue One, the film from Star Wars, because of girls. And it's sad when people are just fighting I would say a stupid fight online because they're saying, well, we don't like this because of women, this and that. I think it's missing the forest for the trees. If you look at a movie and your first reaction is hate it because women are the center stage of the film, then you have a problem, a serious problem that needs some addressing, and I'm not going to change it. You're not going to change it. You need major help, to change that mindset. And I'm saying this with a lot of respect. You might not like it. You might dislike this video. You might unfollow me because of what I'm saying. But we need change in our society. We need change ourselves. Because if we look at this, something's wrong with us. I don't think, that things will change easily. I think there's racism in the world and also sexism in the world. And those are illnesses of our society that need to be addressed. I'm not saying that Ghostbusters, the reboot, was a great film, but I have fun with it. And this is coming from a real fan. I'm not talking about those fake fans online say, I'm a big fan and this and that. And I grew up with these movies. I went to the movie theater to watch number 1, number 2. I'm a big fan since day one. I have the real Ghostbusters. I watched them all as a kid. It was my kind of like my religion to watch it daily. When it was coming out on TV. Love the real Ghostbusters. Love to watch it. Enjoyed it so much. I have the toys. I played with them. I wanted to be a Ghostbusters. This is coming from somebody that grew up in that era in the 80s, went through that era of the 80s, and I've been reading since then. I read the comics. I still read the comics by IDW. Love those comics. I love the Ghostbusters. I have the whole set collections of this, of every DVD, Blu-ray, all of that. I have it. I have the action figures. I collect them. I have the die-cast models. I just enjoy the Ghostbusters. And I loved it. And you know what? The third one, to me, was just an addition to something that was already there. It was not taking the place of number one or number two. It was just there. Of course, now with a female cast, which it was just simply a turn of events. It was just simply, to me, it was just, offshoot of what was already created. And, I have no problem with it. I enjoy it. Until this day, I watch the film when I want to watch something quirky, something funny. I just watch it. It's one of those movies that it's just that. It's just that. It's not a perfect film. But when I go back and watch now, after so many years, after, 30 years or more, I'm going back and watch it, those original ones, I realize how flawed they were. And I'm okay with it. It's just entertainment. I have grown and matured now. I'm older now. I've seen things in a different light that I did when I was at that age. I still like him, and I'm still going to love him and defend him. I was not offended by this film, and I'm not going to be offended for the new one. I don't think Leslie did the right thing by just expressing it that way. But I do understand her frustration. And you know what? We need change. Our society needs change. We need change to really address the situations in our society that are really damaging us, not to really grow in as a society, not to really enjoy things for what they are. As I mentioned on my podcast yesterday, why so serious? Why we take things so seriously? Just enjoy for what it is and move on. Move on. If things don't work out the way you want it, fine. It is what it is. And I said it then, and my review is one of the most hated reviews I have because people don't like it. I didn't like it that I give props to the film. But I always say this to people. Look beyond that. Look like it's going to another reboot that's going to come. So you just enjoy what it is now and wait until the next one comes. And voila, it just happened. It just happened. So why is it that we get so frustrated with things that really don't have any weight in our lives or will change the world? We just simply enjoy things for what they are. You're never going to win. There's always going to be two factions to something. I did like the film. I think she's okay to be upset. She has a right to be upset. If you didn't like the film and you hate it too, you also have a right to do it. But we need to think beyond that. We need to see things beyond just ourselves and see what really means in the whole spectrum of things. What it means to have a all-cast female film. Was it something good? Was something that really helped? Or we just hated because of that. We hated the movie because it wasn't good, or we hated the movie because the movie had an all-female cast and we already had a preconceived notion of it even before we watch it. That's why we have to be careful. And you know what? I've done that too many times in many films. I come to a film with preconceived notions. And when I come with preconceived notions, of course, what I fear the most is going to happen. So if I take those preconceived notions, clear my mind, and then come to a film just to enjoy for what it is, then I can see the gems in the middle of the rocks, in the middle of the poop. I can find the pearls, and I can enjoy the things, and I can really have a very direct mind, and I can have a concise and more precise, I would say, approach to things, or understanding of things. And I can take, that moment, I can totally come and say to you, this is garbage or this is gold. So we need to take the preconceptions. We need to take all those ideas or mindsets or all those strongholds in our mind that are really keeping us for really growing and maturing and enjoying things for what they are. So that's my opinion today. I don't know if you agree or not. If you do, just share your thoughts. If you disagree with me, just share your thoughts too. As long as we do it respectfully, of course, we can communicate. So just do it down below. I would like to hear it. I'm a fan of Ghostbusters. I'm glad that there's another movie coming out. I understand what Leslie's saying, and I do understand, and I feel bad that our things didn't work out for the previous movie. But time to move on and see what's next. So what is your opinion on the matter? I would like to hear it. So once again, thanks for listening to the podcast. If you're doing this through iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker, and all the different apps. If you're watching this through YouTube, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification button. Please share this video. Please share the podcast with your friends. Send the link so people can watch it and can listen to the podcast. And please consider supporting this channel, the podcast, through Patreon. Whatever you give, whether it's $1, $2, $3, all of that will support this channel and this podcast for the years to come. So once again, God bless you, and I'll talk to you again. Bye-bye.
We can make a wildfire get away.